Hi guys, welcome back to a new episode of A Million Minds
Good.
with Anita and Hirot. Thank you for making it with us. How are you?
I'm very well. Good. How are you?
Thank you. All good. Okay.
What do we have today?
You're excited?
Yes.
Okay, let's go. Our topic for today, it's kind of in tune with what we spoke on the last episode, which was business and starting the business with money, with no money. What does it take to make a business if you don't have money? And we have so there's a Google study, right, that the idea it's not as important as execution. So the execution is the most important thing when it comes to building something. What do you think about that?
That's very true. I agree. If you asked me which one is more important, I would have said execution too. Based on my own guess. Educated guess would have been that without knowing what other studies say. I know people who make innovative AI companies or VR companies and they fail. And I know people who make just a cleaning company for offices, which there is another 150 of them already registered in the same city, and they make so much money every year. So they're just 151st company. There's a lot of competition, but they do it correct. They get correct contracts in place, and they're making so much money. Versus the idea was innovative and absolutely brand new, doesn't get anywhere. It's not necessarily a lot of people think they need to come up with that golden idea. Those golden ideas are good too, and if they work, they're a $1 trillion, $1 billion idea, like Apple.
Yeah.
Right. Cleaning company is not a $1 trillion idea, but it could be $1 million idea.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can easily make 2-3 million a year with it.
Yeah. How many marketing agencies are there? And people are still making marketing
Yeah,
agencies because
exactly.
there will always be one more needed in your area, or you will do something different than the rest.
Exactly.
Or, for example, when Kim Kardashian, she came up with her brand schemes that it was about like shapewear and, all nude colors and stuff. There was no shapewear out there. Of course there was. But the execution, the marketing and everything made it out to be like the most successful in that area.
Yeah,
Of course. Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, most people never start because they're waiting for that one in a million idea. How do you think they can overcome this and just start?
You can ask ChatGPT for top 10, really. Top 10. I know the answer. I mean, your ChatGPT might say a different answer because it's getting AIs are kind of like molding to who you are.
Yeah.
So it might give you a different kind of answer than me if we ask the same question, even if it's an open-ended question. So to ask ChatGPT, what are the top 10 profitable businesses in X city in Dubai that I can start with 50,000 euros, for example. Maybe your list would be different to mine, but roughly 80% of it would be the same. And just pick any of those, really. Pick any of those that you have passion and if you have experience, great. If you have some sort of expertise in it, technically, great. Um, if you don't, you just have to have the full passion. Don't confuse this with having passion for making money.
Yeah.
That exists in all of the options. And if you just look at one, say this one is gonna make the most money, you look at option 3 and 5, and you're like, how are these gonna make money? Number 4 is the one. That's not the passion I'm talking about. The passion is for the industry, for the line of work. If you have passion in the line of work, you'll put in the hours. When you put in the hours, you do
The work that needs to be done.
yes, it's like working hard in it. If you want to be a hunter and you have passion to hunt, you'll be successful in that. You'll try and try and try. If you like to be a fisherman and you keep trying, you will succeed. But if you don't, for example, this I'm saying this because I'm comparing two things, right? For example, for me, I've done fishing in my life, especially when I was younger, with school, with family, and I absolutely hate it. The patience element, the way you have to like hold on, I don't like it. I don't. It doesn't relax me. It actually stresses me. So, so now if I choose that as a job, obviously it's not gonna go well, because I will seek every little opportunity I can get to leave that.
Yeah.
One day I convince myself to stay home, to sleep because I didn't sleep enough last night. One day I convince myself to go out with friends because I need social life. One day I convince myself. So you look back, you don't work. You
Yeah.
look at the last year, you think, oh, my efficiency was on 20%.
Yeah.
But when you like hunting, let's say you just like, back in the day, especially, you like to do archery. You like to throw an arrow. You just like to throw an arrow. So the fact that you like to do that, you will keep, even if you miss, you keep doing it. You keep doing it till you hunt. So that's the most trivial example I can give to this. So if you pick cleaning company and you don't like to put up with people in that work, the tasks of that work, and it doesn't mean you have to clean yourself. You make a cleaning company, you hire people, especially for example somewhere in Dubai or other places too. The colleague I said who has a cleaning company, that previous example was a person I know that did those, both of them. The AI company that failed, I know, and the person who did cleaning company, he did it in Australia, and his employees, he doesn't do anything. His employees are all, it's just taking care of the business. He runs the business, he doesn't do the business, but he likes to pursue the whole thing. If you don't like to pursue that and you prefer, there is an easy thing you can do in Australia, and it's very profitable. I'll tell you one funny business idea that is very profitable: mobile pet wash, to be precise, dog wash. So washing people's dogs, and you have a van basically.
Yeah.
You have all the tools in it,
Yeah.
and you don't need so much water or something. Whatever you need, you have, and you just drive to people's houses. And in Australia, it's mostly villas and townhouses, and so it's not apartments. So they just walk their dog out their front door.
Yeah.
You wash their dog, or some people do it in their garden or back. So you wash their dog with pretty much the things you have in your van. You don't need anything else. You don't need anything from them. You don't need really anything. And it includes all of it, like washing, grooming, nails, everything.
Yeah.
And they charge a lot.
Yeah.
They charge so much for this.
You see, that's a business that I would like, because
Yeah.
I love animals and dogs, and that's so cute.
I wanted to do that business one time,
Yeah.
a few years ago. I wanted to get like 5 vans and to hire the people who do it and get all the equipment for it.
Yeah.
And they just run. I wouldn't have been doing anything. Just run the business. I wouldn't.
Yeah. I would have been driving the
there.
truck at least, so I see the doggies.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. You can steal this idea.
It's a very good idea.
Okay.
You can do all these things with animals, because people have, especially people who are in cities, we've evolved so much as humans, which is both good and bad, that city life doesn't offer so much, connection with animals anymore.
Yeah.
So people love that part now.
Yeah.
I guess people who lived 5,000 years ago, that
They
all they
were
had to do was with being in a farm. They were sick of the animals. They would like a smartphone to play a game.
Yeah.
For themselves. But now it's the opposite. People are always on telephones, and
You need something alive.
yeah. Look at the stats of 20, 30 years ago. It was a thing to hire gardener. A lot. I know from stories of even just family. A lot of people hired gardeners all the time, right, to do their gardening work. Right now, all the people I know who have gardens in Australia, they all do it themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason is that all day they're on, they're engineers, accountants, finance, doctor, whatever. They're always with their phone 24/7, on their laptop, all of this, like,
Technology.
Yeah, technology life. So they actually appreciate doing their own gardening. It's a entertainment for them. It's like, something different, something new.
Yeah.
So they don't want to pay a gardener.
Yeah.
They want to do their gardening. I mean, plus gardening fees are very high in Australia. Gardeners charge a lot.
Plus, again, it's something alive. You're taking care of plants, which is something alive. It's same as the animals.
Exactly. That's why.
It's
that's
contact
what I
with
meant.
nature,
Exactly.
pure nature.
Exactly. Before, my grandpa's wish was to hire someone to take care of the garden.
Because he couldn't be bothered.
Yeah. But now my parents do their own gardening. And
Hmm.
if I offer them for someone to come, why? We will do it. It takes more time, but it's something we do.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a picnic to them. So they're having fun doing it. So any idea with animals work? I've seen people do goat yoga. Have you seen that?
Yeah. That's so cute.
They put little goatees and people are just doing yoga and they like the
That's so
goat is like
cute.
on their shoulder or something
Yeah. Yeah.
while they're like on
Because
a
they're so
plank
funny.
position. Yeah.
They're so funny.
Yeah.
And especially the small ones.
I guess the goats are good as well because they can like balance themselves.
Yeah,
to stand. They don't fall.
They do. I've seen them like they go like on top of you and they're like just balancing
Yeah,
themselves.
they're
Like,
good
it's
at
so
balancing. They're
cute.
the best at balancing. So
Yeah.
it's not worse than the mountains out there.
Yeah, for sure.
So, so yeah. So those ideas were cat coffee shop. It's just a coffee shop with a lot of
With
cats in it.
kitties, I know.
There's dog coffee shop, dog restaurant. I've seen so many.
Yeah, puppy yoga.
But
like-
yeah, I've seen so many of
Mm.
these. They all work.
Yeah,
They all work.
super cute.
But you need to have the passion. If you're someone who's scared of the animals and don't like it, and you think, you have to have the mindset that it would work.
Of course.
If you have the mindset, I'm just doing this. Some people might have this goat yoga. That's such a bad idea, but there's people who like it, so let me do it anyways. If you have this mentality entering that you think it's a bad idea, like why would I put goats with yoga together? But you think, oh, people are gonna pay for it, so you only approach it because of money, you're gonna bankrupt, guaranteed. Because the mentality is there that you can't even convince yourself that you like what you do. You think from day one, pretty much, you think this is irrelevant. Well, eventually you'll get to bankruptcy because you think it's irrelevant.
Yeah. So you do think that if you chase a business, you need to be interested and have the passion for the
Yes,
idea. right?
Definitely, you need to love it. You need to like it. You know how people say, pursue what your passion is, you'll be successful. This is along the same lines. Pursue a business that you believe in, you like to promote it. You're not ashamed of mentioning it. That guy who has a cleaning company is not ashamed to say, I have a cleaning company. Some people might be. Say, oh, cleaning company, I don't have a technology company, right? So if that's the mentality, I guarantee you, save your bucks. Save your money, go to Hawaii. It's better than starting that business. Really. You will bankrupt. If you don't have the passion to talk about it to your friends and family even, or wherever you see it, people say, what do you do for work? And you trying to escape answering it, that business it failed the moment you begin.
And it's not even the ashamed. It's just something you really can't be bothered with. Like,
Exactly.
For example, I would never do a business in ski, right? I'm not interested in ski at
Yeah.
all. But would I do horse riding company?
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. I love
Exactly.
horses.
You see,
I love
this
horses.
is the difference. When you
Because I'm so passionate about horses and like the whole horse riding and the competition and stuff. I would definitely do it, of course.
it's the love, it's the the energy, the emotions, all of this.
Yeah,
When you have a ski company, even if you're successful,
yeah,
if you sit with friends and they say, what do you do? You'll say, I have a ski company.
yeah,
They say, do you make money? Yeah. And if let's say you do, let's say you're not going bankrupt, let's say it's even making money, your energy will be like 30%, and that 30% is just because you're successful at having a business
yeah,
and being a business owner.
yeah.
But when you have the horse riding, wherever you see it, you talk with it with such passion. You don't even care if people join it or not. You're not doing it for money. You just want to brag to them that you do what you love because you love it.
Exactly.
So you're talking about your horses.
Exactly.
You don't care about them subscribing to your schooling and paying you
Yeah.
memberships or not.
Yeah,
You're
that's
just saying it as brag and as not a bad brag, like a good brag that, yeah, I love horses and I'm working with them.
Yeah, that's a kind of business that even if it's not making as much money as you would like it to, you're still happy with it.
Yes.
Because it's your passion.
Yes, that's very true. It's very important.
Do you agree with this sentence? Perfection is the enemy of progress.
At the start, especially, yes.
Okay.
And you want to start something, it kills it because you never start technically. Because no one starts with perfection. Who starts with perfection?
Yeah.
You cannot ever start. Technically you can't even reach perfection.
Mm-hmm.
But never mind starting when
Yeah.
everything is perfect, right? Like we're doing podcasts. There might be a lot of mistakes, there might be a lot of issues, and we're growing
As we
our
go.
experience as we go. And this is all someone can do. You try, you just need to have a feedback loop connected. So you understand what you do wrong. So you're not just, short visioned, and not seeing where you're going wrong, or being kind of like rejecting feedback, positive, negative. You shouldn't be like with that kind of mindset. So you should start something without the perfection, with pretty much average start. Everyone starts average. Everyone starts normal. No one does a wow job the first thing they do. When Apple was doing their laptops, the first stages, people think, the first iPhone was the one. The first Mac was the first best MacBook. It wasn't. It wasn't the case. You know how many models they did, and they pretty much threw it in the bin because
Yeah.
no one would invest in it. They took
Yeah.
it to investors. No one would invest in it.
Yeah.
So it's not the case that you start with perfection. But if he wanted to wait till he comes up with the iPhone 17 idea from get go, that we wouldn't have apples in our hands these days. That
Exactly.
company would have never been there to begin with. So you start, and then you perfect as you go along, as much as you can. Once again, you will not reach 100%, but once you have a lot of years in the industry, a big team, a good team, everything's stable, then you can think about looking into perfection,
Yeah.
just to just for the sake of it.
Yeah. Do you know the singer Rosalia?
Yeah,
She's Spanish.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
She was saying, for example, so many people they don't start. She was talking mostly about like artists,
Mm.
right, and stuff. But like I think it applies to this as well. So many people don't start because they are afraid of being like cringy,
Yes,
and like being cringe in front of other people. But she said like you need to be cringy. You need to be cringe. You need to be uncomfortable because at the very beginning I was very cringy. Like I see myself now when I was starting like in these very small places singing and stuff. It's cringy, but like now look what I am. You need to be cringy. You need to humble yourself as much as it's possible because otherwise you will not make it.
that's very true. Humbling yourself is a big thing as well.
Mm.
You need to. It's connected to what I said. You need to have a feedback loop,
Mm.
and not as a demotivator. If people say, "Oh, you did this and it was terrible," you need to understand why. You know, even ask them. Say, "Okay, fair enough, but why? Tell me. Go into more details.
Mhm.
Just the fact that you say it was terrible doesn't help me so much. I don't know what part I need to fix. So and fix it. So this is the humble part. If you think, no, why are they talking to me like this? You will not succeed. You will not, because they might have a point of view that you're missing out. You learn things as you go. This is the only way you can succeed. To start, listen to everything and everyone. Doesn't mean you have to do all of them, but listening to them. You should always be open to it. Some people might be saying things out of jealousy.
Mhm.
Okay, well, it's up to you and your own IQ and EQ to understand which one is jealousy, which one is proper feedback. Because both are between two negative feedbacks. So that's up to you. That's a individual skill you gotta have to understand which one to take seriously and which one to ignore and just move past so you don't get demotivated. But you should appreciate people who are actually giving negative feedbacks that are real. You should actually appreciate them. They're doing you a favor.
Yeah.
They're telling you how you did things wrong, to get things. Imagine you're dating
Mhm.
and you go to a girl or a guy, like, well, let's say a girl, and you talk to her for 2 minutes and your friend hears you. The girl at the end of that conversation throws water in your face and leaves.
Mhm.
Obviously, that's a sign that it didn't go well. So now, if your friend says you did this like this and you should have said this, and when she said this, you shouldn't have said this. Now it's up to you to understand if he's doing it out of jealousy or whether he knows or he doesn't know. But if it's real advice, even if it's negative, he's judging you for what you did basically, you should take it because this is the only way. The next time you will be successful. Otherwise, for the rest of your life, you'll just have bunch of water bottles thrown in your face.
And
That's not what you're hoping for.
at the moment, you're talking about someone who is your equal, but I think you should even so many people, because they are, it hurts their pride when they are starting something, for example, and they don't want to hear the advice from someone who is higher than them. But I think that's
Higher than them or lower than them? You mean younger than them?
no, higher than them,
No.
because these people have because they think they should be at that level already when they're not, so they don't want to listen to that advice. But I think they should listen to that advice, because these are the people who have the best advice
No,
to give.
Look, I come from a culture of respecting the Iranians. If an older person comes in right now through a door, I will just get up naturally to
Yeah.
say hello. I might not even know him.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. He can be president of a country. He can be a janitor. It doesn't matter. The fact that they're older, it's the same, you know. So I come from that kind of culture. So anything that someone older tells me, I will actually listen to it and see what I can gain from it. It doesn't mean, look, every advice doesn't, you don't have to change your life based on every advice. Like that, what do you? Just, gas being moved around, you don't have identity, you're not solid. But to listen and to respect is a different thing. You don't have to implement all of them. You cannot implement all of them. An old person might come here and experience in this field and says go right. Another one comes and says go left. How can I go right and left at the same time? It's up to me to see it. My job is to listen and respect the first one, and listen and respect the second one, and to decide which one do I want to go, or if there is a third option, maybe I even choose a third option. I go straight, I don't go right or left. But that's up to me, because it's your life. Even if they're older, it's not their life, it's your life. So you can only look, if you get successful, nothing goes to them. If you're unsuccessful, nothing goes to them. Both cases, it's you have to pay for the success or unsuccess, or you get rewarded or you pay for success and unsuccess, right? But to listen to, I would never think that. And people who think that someone, they don't see where they are compared to, someone who has more knowledge and more experience in something, beyond any kind of discussion for me, to be honest. There is no discussion there. The case is usually the opposite. That people who are, like, for example, starting a business, they don't listen to someone who's younger.
Mm-hmm.
This case happens, but sometimes that younger person has experience.
Yeah.
I was speaking to someone who's a HR in a good company, and I was speaking to them about, because he's a HR, about salaries, for different ranks, different departments. How much does the IT guy get? How much does this person get? Not a particular person, like how much is it, especially in the market of Dubai. So he was saying, for example, this job gets between 8 to 10,000. This job gets 10 to 15,000, depending on little things. So I asked, how much does a back-end developer get, right? And he gave me a figure here. And I asked, how much is it also in Iran, the same developer, especially working for a company outside of Iran, meaning they earn in US dollars. And he said a number, and then he said, I have one exception though. I know a 16-year-old. He was pretty much, we can call him a genius. He didn't even go to university, but he programmed since he was like 8 years old. And he gets the figure, he said, he knew the figure because he used to work with him a few years ago in Iran, when he was in Iran. And the figure he said was almost 4 times what a senior would get in the industry. And I mean, to be honest, in IT, there is no real senior, because you can be, as you said, with 2 years experience and younger, but better than someone who has 20 years experience. It doesn't necessarily, because it's not a job that you keep compounding. I mean, you compound, but there's so many updates that if you're not updated, you can be actually worse. Someone with 20 years of experience is more behind than someone who's fresh, if they haven't updated themselves, unless it's a managerial position. But you see, a 16-year-old earning 4 times a 30, 35-year-old who's been through so many programs in his life, so many projects in his life, so many companies, his CV is so much more full, but he's getting 1/4 of the money. And I would assume that these people, when they talk to that 16-year-old, it's hard for them to take advice from him.
Yeah.
Because it's a 16-year-old, 20
What
years
do you
younger
know?
than the guy who's 36. 20 years, that's a lot. You can be his kid, pretty much. So they don't listen to him when
Mm.
his advice is valuable and it's correct. If you look at it from outside, you see it's correct, but they don't listen to him. So this happens, which you need to humble yourself for this, to even listen to those who are below you. But to those people who are above you, whether it's age, whether it's experience, whether blah, 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 you should do it. That's not a matter of humbling. That's a matter of culture, respect. That's a matter of being a human. Yeah, as they say, power is offered to those people who are willing to lower themselves to pick it up. You start something, you have to keep yourself ready for everything. Doesn't mean I give you an example about myself. I played many years tennis and I've played other racket sports. I've played a lot of years table tennis, ping pong. I've played badminton, not so much, but I've played. I've played squash. And recently, in the recent months, I've started playing paddle. Going into paddle courts, I don't brag when people say what level are you? I don't try to say, brag. I've seen so many people who do this. They're like, even if they haven't played so long, they say, oh, paddle, because they don't know paddle. They say nothing but quickly they need to put a but. I've played tennis for this and I've played this tournament and those things are some of it is lies, some of it is not even important, whatever. They're trying to make it up, but it's not necessarily the case. Like for example, when I go myself, to people who know, I say I don't know paddle. You tell me. And when I started playing, this is always a better way as well. People were surprised at looking at those moments and saying, "Oh, you're not that bad. We thought you're gonna be rubbish. You're not that bad." And I was like, "Yeah, I played." He was like, "So you did play paddle?" I was like, "No, I played other racket sports." And this is as much as you need to say really. The rest, whatever you need to prove, you prove it on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Not with saying anything, not with ignoring people talking to you, not with not texting people back, not calling people back, not picking up the phone, not by any of these. This is not the correct way. The correct way is humble yourself. Say, yeah, I'm fresh. Tell me what is the rules. Even if things they were telling me how to count points. Well, the how to count points is exactly turns out to be exactly like tennis, right? I wasn't stopping them. I let them completely explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Not a single moment I thought even of saying, I've played tennis, I know. Let the guy say what he wants to say. Maybe there is 1% difference in
Mm-hmm.
between them. And if you don't and you stop them now, you will not figure this out. And on a match point, you didn't know there was an exception that you didn't know. Let him say what he needs to say, even if you know. Doesn't matter. Unless it's something you absolutely know and you smash and you do it every day, then you don't need to waste your time getting inducted every day. But if it's something absolutely new, well, you don't know. Maybe they explain the first 20%, it's similar, okay. But maybe it's gonna change. Maybe I don't want to be that person who stops them, and then later make a mistake, or them coming back to me and saying, actually I know, but this part changes. Let him explain, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are a good tennis player, they will figure it out because when you start playing, you don't look like an absolute
Beginner.
amateur with your eye to hand coordination of hitting the ball. They will see, he gets to hit the balls all in our court. So they all know that you've played something before. It's obvious. A person who's never held any racket of any of these sports, paddle, tennis, table tennis, squash, badminton, will miss the balls, will hit the shadow, you know? So it's very obvious to understand who has held a racket in their hands before, who hasn't. You don't need to really say it. It's the same with other things. People need to learn from each other. This is the greatest thing we have that we discussed this one time as well. Animals don't have, they don't learn from each other. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, well, they do. It depends also which animal we're talking about. No disrespect to animals, nothing against them, but we do it better, right? We learn better. We gather information and pass information down generation by generation better. Why not use it? We have this. Why not use it? We don't make this. We shouldn't be making the same mistake twice.
Mm-hmm.
If someone did X and went bankrupt last year and he met me in a jacuzzi today and I'm trying to do X, exactly that kind of project, and he tells me don't do this, why should I not listen to him? Low, older than me, younger than me, I don't care. Male, female, whatever. Whatever gender, whatever age, whatever nationality. Hear the guy out. He's saving you from a bankruptcy. You know, which one do you think is harder, to listen to other people's advice or liquidating? You know what's liquidating? Liquidating a business is when you've gone bankrupt, you have so much debt, you have to sell your business as your chairs and tables and I mean, this is the last thing you should be selling, chairs and tables, but you know, it comes down to that. Some businesses, it comes down to the last pen that you need to resell it to pay people. You know, which one do you think is more downgrading? When you're calling liquidators, it's such a bad feeling.
Of course.
Someone telling you, let me see how I can help you. They're pulling you out of a sludge so that you don't get 15 emails, text messages, and calls every day on your phone, you know, from debt collectors. It's such a bad feeling.
Yeah.
So listening to that advice in jacuzzi will seem so much better. Trust me. It will be a walk in the park.
Yeah.
When you're at the end, you wish you go back to that jacuzzi and listen to this guy's advice,
Exactly.
no matter who he was.
So, in conclusion, today,
Be humble.
be humble.
Yes.
Be humble to start, be humble to create, be humble to ask.
Yeah.
And that's how you will get to places.
To be honest, it's not cool to not be humble. You know, what do we have to prove to anyone in this world?
Not.
Except ourselves.
There's a quote that is like, I think one of my favorite quotes ever, that it's always in the back of my mind, that it says, when you know nothing really matters, the universe is yours.
Yes, exactly.
Nothing matters actually. Nothing. Yes. The universe is yours. Yeah.
There is a thing that people think between the age of 20 to 40 is the peak of your life. Now, most people who are in their 60s, 70s, if you ask them, there's studies done on this, which you can access anywhere. People in their 60s and 70s, when you ask them which one was more fruitful, 20 to 40 or 40 to 60, which 20 years? They say 40 to 60. And the biggest reason is because they stop caring about when people judge them. Because first of all, you realize half those people you think they're judging you, they're not even judging you. They don't even remember your name. They have enough worries in their own life to not have a 1 hour time slot associated to judging you. They have bills to pay. You're not on their mind. And those ones that are actually judging you, it doesn't matter. When you realize this, life is so much easier. So the sooner you realize it, the more fun you're going to have in life.
So, yeah, we'll come back with more ideas and more topics for the next episode. See you the next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.